Hello, and welcome to episode 8, chapter 8 of Storytime. Um, Today on Storytime, we're going to be reading a story. Ava follows me down the hallway with her pockets full of roast turkey. There's chewed up Salisbury steak in her shoes, her face, the powdery crushed velvet mess of her skin. There's 100 wrinkles that all run into her mouth, and she wheels along after me saying, "You, don't you run away from me." Her hands woven with lumpy veins, she wheels herself along, hunched in her wheelchair, pregnant with her own huge, swollen spleen. She keeps after me, saying, "You hurt me," saying, "You can't deny it." Wearing a bib the color of food, she says, "You hurt me and I'm telling Mother." Where they have my mom, she has to wear a bracelet. Not a jewelry kind of bracelet. It's a strip of thick plastic that's heat sealed around her wrist so she can never take it off. You can't melt it apart with a cigarette. You can't cut it. People have tried all these ways to get out. Wearing the bracelet, every time you walk around the hallway, you hear locks snapping shut. A magnetic strip or something sealed inside the plastic gives off a signal. It stops the elevator doors from opening for you to get on. It locks almost every door if you get within 4 feet. You can't leave the floor you're assigned. You can't go onto the street. You can go into the garden or the day room or the chapel or the dining room, but nowhere else in the world. If somehow you do get past an exterior door, for sure the bracelet sets off an alarm. This is St. Anthony's. The rugs, the drapes, the beds, pretty much everything is flame-proof. It's all stain resistant. You could do just about anything anywhere and they could wipe it up. It's what they call a care center. Feels bad telling you this because I'm spoiling it, the surprise I mean. You'll see it all for yourself soon enough. That is, if you live long enough. You'll, or you just give up and you go nuts ahead of schedule. My mom, Ava, even you, eventually everybody gets a bracelet. This isn't one of those snake pit places. You don't smell urine the minute you step into the door. Not for $3,000 a month. It used to be a convent a century ago, and the nuns planted a beautiful old rose garden, beautiful and walled and fully escape-proof. Video security cameras watch you from every angle. From the minute you get in the front door, there's a slow, scary migration of the residents edging towards you. Every wheelchair, all the people with walkers and canes, they all see a visitor and they come creeping. Tall, glaring Miss Novak, she's an undresser. The woman in the room next to my mom is a squirrel. With an undresser, they take their clothes off at every possible moment. These are folks who the nurses dress in what look like shirt and pants combinations, but are really just jumpsuits. The shirts are sewn into the waistband of the pants. The shirt's button and the flies are fake. The only way in or out is a long zipper up the back. These are old people with limited range of motion, so an undresser, even what they call an aggressive undresser, is trapped 3 times over in her clothes, in her bracelet, in her care center. A squirrel is someone who chews her food and then forgets what to do next. They forget how to swallow. Instead, she spits each chewed mouthful into her dress pocket or in her handbag. This is less cute than it sounds. Mrs. Novak is Mom's roommate. The squirrel is Ava. At St. Anthony's, the first floor is for people who forget names and run around naked and put chewed food in their pockets, but who are otherwise pretty undamaged. Here are also some young people fried on drugs and smoked by massive head traumas. They walk and talk, even if it's just word salad, a constant stream of words that seem random. Fake people rode Little Dawn, sing Rode Purple Veil Gone. That's how they talk. The second floor is for bed patients. The third floor is where people go to die. Mom's on the first floor now, but nobody there is there forever. How Ava got here is people will take their aging parents to some public place and just leave them behind with no identification. These are old Dorothys and Irmas with no idea who or where they are. People think the city or state government or whoever will collect them. Kind of what the government does with litter. The same as what happens when you ditch your old car and take the license plate and the VIN decal off so the city has to tow it away. No kidding. But this is what they call granny dumping. And St. Anthony's has to take a certain number of dumped grannies and eccentric street fright kids and suicidal bag ladies. Only they don't call them bag ladies or call the street girls prostitutes. My guess is somebody slowed their car down and just shoved Ava out the door and never shed a tear. Kind of like what people do with pets that they can't house train. Ava's still trailing me. I get to my mom's room and she's not there. Instead of my mom, her bed's empty with a big wet dent sunk in the mattress soaked with urine. Shower time, I figure. A nurse takes you down the hall to a big tiled room where they hose you clean. Here at St. Anthony's, they show the movie The Pajama Game every Friday night, and every Friday night all the same patients crowd in to see it for the first time. They have bingo, crafts, visiting pets. They have Dr. Paige Marshall, wherever she disappeared to. They have fireproof bibs that cover you from your neck to your ankles so that you don't set yourself on fire while you smoke. They have Norman Rockwell posters. A hairdresser comes twice a week to do your hair. That costs extra. Incontinence costs extra. Dry cleaning costs extra. Monitoring urine output costs extra. Stomach tubes cost extra. They have lessons every day on how to tie your shoes and how to button a button, snap a snap, buckle a buckle. Someone will demonstrate Velcro. Someone will teach you how to zip your zipper every morning. They tell you your name. Friends who've each known each other over 60 years get reintroduced every morning. These are doctors, lawyers, captains of industry who day to day can't master a zipper anymore. This is less teaching than it is damage control. You might as well try to paint a house that's on fire. Here at St. Anthony's, Tuesday means Salisbury steak. And Wednesday means mushroom chicken. Thursday is spaghetti. Friday is baked fish. Saturday, corned beef. Sunday, roast turkey. They have a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle for you to do while you're running out the clock. There isn't a mattress in the place that a dozen people haven't already died on. Ava's wheeled her chair up to my mom's doorway, and she's sitting there, looking pale and wilted, as if she's a mummy somebody just unwrapped and then set its thin, crude hair on. Her curly blue head never stops bobbling in slow, tight little prize fighter circles. "Don't come near me," Ava says, every time I look at her. "Dr. Marshall won't let you hurt me," she says. Until the nurse gets back, I just sit on the edge of my mom's bed and I wait. My mom has one of those clocks where each hour is marked by the call of a different bird, pre-recorded. 1 o'clock is the American robin. 6 is the northern oriole. Noon is the house finch. The black-capped chickadee means 8 o'clock. The white-breasted nuthatch means 11. You get the idea. The problem is associating birds with specific times can get confusing, especially if you're outside. You turn from a clock watcher into a bird watcher, and every time you hear the lovely trill of the white-throated sparrow, you think, "It's 10 o'clock already?" Ava wheels a little bit into my mom's room. "You hurt me," she says, "and I never told Mother. These old people, these human ruins, it's already half past the tufted titmouse, and I have to catch my bus and be at work by the time the blue jay sings." Ava thinks I'm her big brother who diddled her about 10 centuries ago. My mom's roommate, Mrs. Novak, with her horrible big hanging breasts and ears, she thinks I'm her bastard business partner who gypped her out of a patent for the cotton gin or a fountain pen or something. Here I get to be all things to all women. "You hurt me," Ava says, and rolls a little closer. I've never forgotten it for a minute. Every time I visit some old raisin down the hall with wild eyebrows, she calls me Eichmann. Another woman with a clear plastic tube of piss looping out from under her bathrobe, she accuses me of stealing her dog and wants it back. Anytime I pass the other old woman who sits in her wheelchair slumped in a pile of pink sweaters, she hisses at me. "I saw you," she says. She looks at me with one cloudy eye. "The night of the fire, I saw you with them." You can't win. Every man who's ever passed through Ava's life has probably been her big brother in some form. Whether she knew it or not, she spent her whole life waiting and expecting men to diddle her. And for serious, even mummied up in her wrinkled skin, she's still 8 years old. Stuck, just the same as Colonial Dunsborough with its granola crew of burnouts. Everybody at St. Anthony's is trapped in their past. I'm no exception, and don't think that you are either. Just as stuck as Jenny is in the stocks, Ava's arrested in her development. "You," Ava says, and pokes a trembling finger at me. "You hurt my woo-woo. These stuck old people." "Oh, you said it was just our game," she says, and rolls her head, her voice getting sing-songy. "It was just our secret game. But then you put your big man thing inside me." And her bony carved little finger pokes the air at my crotch. For serious, just the idea makes my big man thing want to run screaming from the room. The trouble is, anywhere else, at St. Anthony's, it's just the same deal. Another old skeleton thinks I borrowed $500 from her. Another baggy old woman calls me the devil. "You hurt me," Ava says. It's tough not to come here and soak the blame up for every crime in history. You want to shout in everybody's old toothless face, "Yeah, I kidnapped that Lindbergh baby. The Titanic thing? I did that. The Kennedy assassination deal? Yeah, that was me. The big World War II gizmo? The atom bomb contraption? Well, guess what? That was also my doing. The AIDS bug? Oh, sorry, me again." The correct way to handle the case like Ava is to redirect her attention, distract her by mentioning lunch or weather or how nice her hair looks. Her attention span is about a clock tick long, and you can shove her onto a more pleasant topic. You can guess that this is how men have been handling Ava's hostility her whole life. Just distract her. Get through the moment. Avoid confrontation. Run away. And that's pretty much how we get through our own lives. Watching television, smoking crap, self-medicating, redirecting our own attention, jacking off, denial, and her whole body leaning forward, her little stick finger trembling in the air at me. Screw it. She's already pretty much engaged to become Mrs. Death. Yeah, Ava, I say, I boned you. And I yawn. Yeah. Every chance I got, I stuck it into you and I humped out a load. They call this psychodrama. Or you could call it just another kind of granny dumping. Her twisted little finger wilts and she settles back between the arms of her wheelchair. So you finally admit it, she says. Hell yes, I say. You were a great piece of ass, baby sis. She looks off at the blank spot on the linoleum floor and says, after all these years, he admits it. And this is role-playing therapy. Only Ava does not know that it's not for real. Her head still loops in little circles and her eyes come back to me. And you're not sorry, she says. Well, I guess if Jesus could die for my sins, I suppose I can suck up a few other people's sins. We all get our chance to play scapegoat, take the blame. The martyrdom of Saint Me. The sins of every man in history landing square on my back. Ava, I say, baby, sweetheart, little sister, love of my life. Of course I'm sorry. I was a pig, I say. I look at my watch. You were just such a hot tamale, and I was so out of control. Like I need this shit to deal with. Ava just stares at me with her big hyperthyroid eyes until a big sloppy tear splurts out of one eye and cuts through the powder on her wrinkled cheek. I roll my eyes at the ceiling and say, okay, I heard your little woo-woo, but that was 80 friggin' years ago, so get over it. Move on with your life. And then her horrible hands come up, wasted and veined like a tree root or old carrots when they cover her face. Oh, Colin, she says behind them. Oh, Colin. And she takes her hand away, and her face is hosed with eye juice. Oh, Colin, she whispers, I forgive you. And her face nods inward towards her chest, bobbing with short breaths and sniffs. And her terrible hands bring the edge of her bib up to wipe her eyes. And we just sit there. Jeez, I wish I had some chewing gum. My watch says 12:35. She wipes her eyes and sniffs and looks up a little. Colin, she says, do you still love me? These friggin' old people, Jesus H. And just in case you're wondering, I'm not a monster. Just like something in a friggin' book for real, I say, yeah, Ava, yeah, for sure, I guess I can probably still love you. And Ava sobs now, her face hanging over her lap, her whole body rocking. I'm so glad, she says, her tears dropping straight gray stuff from her nose, dripping right into her empty hands. And she says, I'm so glad. And she's still crying, and you can smell the chewed-up Salisbury steak squirreled away in her shoe, and the chewed-up mushroom chicken in the pocket of her smock. And that damn nurse is never going to get my mom back from her shower, and I have to be back at work in 18th century by 1 o'clock. It's hard enough remembering my own past, so I can do my fourth step, and now it's mixed up with the past of these other people and which defense attorney I am today. I can't even remember. And I look at my fingernails, and I ask Ava, is Dr. Marshall here, do you think? I ask. Do you know if she's married? The truth about myself, who I really am, my father, and everything. If my mom knows, then she's too freaked out with guilt to tell. I ask Ava, could you maybe cry somewhere else? And then it's too late. The blue jay starts singing, and Ava still won't shut up, crying and rocking, her bib pressed to her face, and the plastic bracelet trembling around her wrist. She says, I forgive you, Colin. I forgive you. I forgive you. Oh, Colin, I forgive. And that is the end of chapter 8. And our wonderful story about Victor Mancini and his fine adventures. And next time we'll read the next chapter. And I hope that all of you have times after that. Good evening.